Feel like and hello, it's Vo. Welcome back to Turbine City. Last time we'd done a bit of work, but we had nothing to show for it. We're stuck around the 157,000 mark. We're gonna continue building in this area here. Our new neighbourhood with our cat statue in it. Just using the noise pollution indicator as a guide as to where it's safe to put houses in. Again, these specialist commercial zones are a little bit noisier than your standard dense commercial, which is in itself a little bit noisier than the people in the low density residential would like. So we'll try and get some low density stuff in here. Hopefully it won't bother them with the noise. This area is coming together. Our population's creeping up, but steadily. Imagine to breach 157,000. Our academic report's through. We're gaining students. It says we've just unlocked these buildings, but obviously we've already got them placed. I'm not going to fall for that trick and put in more than I need, like I did the first time around. I'll give the grant, see if that draws in a few more students. We can get the ticket price on the varsity sports turned way down, and the budget's turned all the way up. Maybe have a look at the policies, make sure they're all turned on. See if that draws in more students. Continue making our road networks while we're waiting for our demand to get up again. Just going to chop these larger areas we've got in half. Sort of bisect them with the medium roads. Maybe get another large road in here first as a guide. And we can take our medium road all the way across. So we'll continue filling out the tiles. This sort of backbone network of large roads and medium roads. Don't need to zone anything in there yet. We'll focus on the tile we're building houses in. We'll give them a chance to come in. Maybe over in Saggy Hills and Holly Hills we need to get some more attractions for them. Give people more of a reason to come visit. We'll give them the Grand Library. We've obviously got that unlocked now that we've had 300 visitors to libraries. The Apollo Hotel's a workshop item. Looks lovely when it's all lit up. Get that in as well. Hopefully that'll bring in the tourists. And our tourism commercial won't complain that they don't have enough customers. If we extend our roads down here to the ferry terminal we've got, this could be a nice square or part of it to use as a park, a custom park. The one we haven't made yet is the nature reserve. So we can maybe make this whole lower area the nature reserve. That might draw in a few more people. So we'll get an area painted for it. Try and keep it nice and neat. Then when we pop in the main building, we'll be able to unlock everything else. Quite a few things to start off with. They're all quite small, so maybe get the area chopped up in sort of quarters. I'm not too bothered about the paths being dead straight here. Maybe in a nature reserve. A few wiggly paths will fit in nicely. We'll give it some hills. We don't want any sort of mega flat terrain either. I'm not going to make them walk up mountains, but some slight hills that they have to walk up to get up to their tents and things maybe. We'll get a fence running all the way around the edge. Again, we don't need to be super neat with it. So we can just move it afterwards. Drag out the nodes. Put them to where we want to. and nice and straight. And then we'll just complete the fencing. We start getting a few things in. These smaller sort of campfire sites. Maybe get a couple in here, either side of this path. And the other one we can maybe have sort of halfway between there and the exits. Maybe do it in a longer stretch. When we make our paths up the hill, we can maybe take it from there as another sort of junction point. We can get a path spiraling round up to the top of the hill. That's where we can have our actual camping stuff. We've got a few different types of tents that we can use. Not going to put in loads and loads of stuff yet. Maybe just do 1/4, and then when it levels up, we can do a little bit more. We'll get the ticket price down to 5. Same as all our other parks. There are a few policies. There's one, recycle garbage is particular to the nature reserve, so we'll get that on. I'll de-zone this little bit of residential on the corner, just in case there is a bit of noise pollution comes off the park. Get that replaced with some commercial or something. The rest of this area we pretty much want as residential. We've got a demand for it, so we can get some more in here. Seems that we have escaped the 156,000-157,000 problem. Our total population is creeping up slowly but steadily. Our little quality of life improvements and the mass transit options that we've added seem to be doing the trick to some degree. I think if we at some point take away the water treatment plant, that might clean up the water a little bit, make it nice crystal clear. That might make them happier as well. Don't really have a need for commercial yet, so although we've got a strip all the way down here, we may want to pop in a few more medical and death care buildings, since the rest of it's going to be residential. Maybe a better idea to line the area with these. I'd like the yoga garden to fit in here because it's nice and small, but not quite small enough. Let's put it somewhere else. Yeah, we'll get it tucked in here. Let's continue our zoning out. Try and stay on top of our demand. Get a little bit more commercial around that square at some point, I think. Just filling this side with residential just now. I'll have commercial over here. I'm pretty sure we're going to have demand for it at some point. More commercial. We'll get the Sycamore Trail changed to the Sarah Trail. That's Big Steve's counterpart at work. Get the Pearl Station renamed as well. Chris is my sort of counterpart at work. Occasionally, if we're lucky, we get Olaf, so we'll get him in as well. He's a bit like a German Carl Pilkington. He's a funny dude. The cat, we need Floofy. We'll get the Floofy station. I'm not sure I should leave my cat in charge of a station and an oil district, but what harm can come of it? We've already got Elizabeth Square. That's one of my cousins. Her brother's Alan, so we'll get him in. Her other brother's called Ian. We'll get him in as well. We'll change the Elm Animal Park to the Ian Animal Park. That's all that lot included. We'll see if deleting this is gonna cause a massive jump in the city's attractiveness and the population coming in. I'm happy it's in the positive, but I would rather it was triple digits positive rather than just double. Let's see how we get on. I'm pretty sure the eco version just makes less of a mess, less quickly. I think we still want to stick with our no pollute outflow pipes for the meantime, until we get down to the ocean. Get these pumps moved and hooked up. We can look at see where we can put a few outflow pipes to make up for the fact we got rid of the water treatment plant. Don't want to keep putting them down here. We've got nothing on the other side. Maybe move a few things so we can get more of the items across there. Spread things out a little bit. Just have to keep an eye out for flooding whenever we move any of these things. Hopefully we'll be less prone to flooding if we move it about, but certainly for the period just around where you're moving it, sometimes it causes big swells and temporary flooding problems. I'll get everything hooked up to the grid for water and power. Maybe add in a few more units. That's where we've got spaces. Get a couple of pumps in and get them hooked up. I can maybe leave it for a bit, let our demand grow up again. Our area is looking pretty nice. I like the fact it's slightly sloped kind of on a hill. Makes it certainly more interesting. Kill some time, I'll turn off a few more lights while we're waiting for that demand to get back up again. Looks like we're back to gaining hundreds of new citizens every cycle rather than just tens. Obviously super happy with our decision to get rid of the water treatment plant. We'll just keep turning these lights off. Try and keep improving the quality of life, maintaining the services we've got in for them. Get another post office in here. If there's anywhere else we can pop one in as well. Maybe in amongst the commercial over here. Be far enough away from the residential area there. And move it further closer to the highway just to be sure. Got a little bit of residential there changed over to commercial. This whole square can be commercial when our demand goes up a little bit. They keep just wanting more and more places to live. Don't know if that's just the effect of shops getting abandoned in Saggy Hills and Holly Hills, then being replaced by other shops, sort of satisfying the equivalent commercial demand, while the demand for residential keeps on coming back. Certainly not complaining about the increased growth. I want to get up to 500,000 before the end of the playthrough, which is hopefully going to be before I have to go back to work. Start keeping me going, something to do, something to work towards. I'm going to put paths in here later on. Just want to get the zoning in mainly. Get all the houses built in, we can come back when we hit another lull and we need to improve their quality of life again. Get another power station in here since we've got industrial here anyway. Try and maintain a little bit of a margin between our supply and our demand. This area I reckon is almost ready to be filled up. Get some low density commercial in. They're still saying some of them not enough workers, but hopefully with all the people moving in across the river, some of them will come to work here. Brown stain will clear up eventually. The river will get back to normal. Got our report through again. Getting more students in. We're making academic work slowly but surely. It's just a matter of time. Sort of race between the Sarah Trail and the Bow Academy of Arts. See who's going to level up first. Give us some more assets to play with. This highway's a little wonky. Might use move it to tidy it up a little bit. These nodes are aligned, so we could probably get a bridge underneath. Now we can maybe get a small road off of here. We can go up and round the back of the stadiums. I'm not sure we want to try and connect it up to the big road. Maybe put a bridge over and get it connected somewhere else later on. If we get just a pedestrian route in, a little pathway, means that people could walk all the way around theoretically from the other area to come and see the games. There's an option there for them. And that little road gives us a little bit of discrete space to play with, to put something dirty like a power station or something. We've managed to halve the number of 6 citizens we've got, so we'll keep working on it. Looks like half of them are elders, so we'll get another elder care in, see if that helps. Get some extra death care in. Fits in nicely here. It's only a simple commercial that we're getting rid of. As long as we don't get rid of too many houses. That's the main thing when we're redeveloping. We want to generally keep in as many houses as possible, and then if we're having to delete something, we can get rid of some commercial. We always need commercial sort of on the forefront of our building. Whether it's to wrap around something already noisy or to separate an area, that's usually the thing we want to move to the front lines, as it were. I think with these things we want to leave space for a path when we put them in. We know that the people love them, so we will get them in at some point. Still seem to be good with education. Again, we want coverage to be good, so we'll get in one of each anyway. Just make sure all the people who are moving in here have easy access. Get as many people as possible go into the Academy of Arts. I'm going to pop in a recycling centre here. Nice and out of the way. Get these water lines hooked up between the two areas. Get more power in. Get another station. That should give us enough of a margin that we should be able to turn down the budget a little bit. Getting another elder care. Try and get a couple in. Try and get rid of these 6 citizens. Cure our elderly population. Maybe get childcare in next to here as well. Since we're getting in elder cares, would fit in nicely here. Hopefully if we can get the quality of life up, we can go a while before we hit another lull. Yoga garden's quite small, we should be able to fit that in somewhere. Get that in here. Try and do all we can to raise the health a little bit. Try and get our 6 citizens count back to 0. Do a little more zoning. Since we've got the need rising for residential again. I think we're far enough away from all the busy roads if we come along here. Get houses in, no bother. If we get some more small roads in, that'll give us more space to get zoned. Get everything covered with water before we get anything zoned in. We'll move around our outflow pipes a little bit more, try and get everything spread out a little bit more. Hopefully we can get everything moved around and get things in balance without causing a massive flood. Get this area split up a little bit more. Go in with some medium roads. We've pretty much used up all the space. When we need to get zoned in, we can add in a few more. But we've largely got the network set up for this area. We can do a bit of zoning and leave them for a while, let them build their houses in, get demand back up. Sarah Trails won the war and got up to level 2 for the Academy of Arts. Got a couple of viewing decks, they're pretty good on the top of hills. Get them at the sort of high points of the park. Once we've finished setting up this corner, we can maybe get in a few more paths now that we've got a few more things to play with. This little tent camping site fits perfectly in here, so we can get 2 in. And we can have a look at some of the other things we've got. We'll add in a few little ornamental props. A few tables and things, places for people to eat dinner. And they're up at the viewing platforms or just come out their tents in the morning. We want to have it kind of sparse. We don't need loads and loads of stuff packed in. Items are quite small, like these outhouses. Instead of big sort of toilet units like the other parks, we'll put them in pairs, so 2 people can go at once. We'll set them up around the sort of fire pits for these camping sites. We have one either side here, rather than 2 next to each other. We've got a whole bunch of other little props. Got these things that hold firewood and these wishing wells. So we'll get a few things in and we'll sort of lay out the pathways for other 4 corners. We don't need to go overboard and put loads of things in them yet. Let's get it sort of set up. It's a bit sparse in terms of trees. Might want to get into our tree painter. Get this a little bit more covered with a few different kinds of trees. We can turn up our brush strength and get them more densely packed in if we want. I'm sure there's a few areas round about where we've got gaps between the buildings that we can fill in with some trees as well. Helps baffle the noise, so it's always a good thing. If you've got any sort of gaps where everyone would have a sort of shared back garden, fill them in with trees. I'll stop the noise going from building to building. Especially good around the rivers and the highways where it is generating more noise. Get all these little areas painted in. Again, it's something that we can come back and do from time to time. It can only help. Bring in more people. Get a little bit more water in here. Get this guy covered. Get it hooked up to the existing network. The place is shaping up nicely. I like what we've done. The game obviously agrees with us. People are coming in strong. To leave it here for today. Wait till our demand gets back up. We'll get back to zone in next time. Hopefully at some point we'll get this tile all filled up. Then we can move across into the other one. Once we've got neighbourhoods and people living in over there, they can easily commute over to Saggy Hills and Holly Hills. We'll see if we can stop them complaining. So do join us next time. We'll come back and pick up where we left off. Until then, I'll leave you with a sweet little cinematic. Take it easy. If you're going out, stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.